Monster Hunter Wilds is wild. I'm sure no one said that before. Hello, everybody. I'm Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and I am a new player when it comes to Monster Hunter. I dipped my toe in the franchise before, but in anticipation for Wilds coming out, I decided to go into World. I played the base game and I loved it. I'm going to be revisiting World after my playthrough of Wilds. However, Wilds is incredible, isn't it? Like, my god. Yes, it is absolutely intensive on the old hardware, but if you can get the thing to work, this game is gorgeous. And the combat and the changes they've made to this game just feel so buttery smooth to me. I do have one major issue, so before I go full glaze mode about this game, I'm going to talk about it right now to get it out of the way. The story. I can't say I'm a fan of the story so far, however, I am still early on. I just beat the Alpha Doshugama, whatever the hell that thing's name is. I'm going to call it the giant teddy bear. And the way I kind of put it on stream, and I still hold to this opinion so far, is I'm open for it to get better, but as of right now, whenever the story is about the monsters I'm fighting, I'm all for it. It's cool, it's visceral, it's gritty, it's so dang cool, and I love it. Whenever it's about the characters and the people, I couldn't care less. Including those weird forest otter things, I just find them annoying. They're a little cute, I'll admit, but overall, I'm not a fan. And the story uses a bunch of tropes. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just the plot premises so far. I feel like I've seen this story a dozen times before. But at the end of the day, it's Monster Hunter. We're not really here for an in-depth story or anything like that. I think what Monster Hunter got right so far is what it needed to get right. The combat's so dang good, the world design is great, and let's get into the meat and potatoes of Monster Hunter, because like I said before, Monster Hunter as a franchise, to my knowledge, isn't exactly driven by the story. I will say, as of this point in time, I prefer World's story, and the Palico speaking normally is a bit weird to me, but you can just toggle it off to go back to the meow meows, so it's fine. Now the gameplay, my god is it good! I'm a Switch Axe main. I started with Charge Blade back in World, but I eventually went on over and was converted to the glory of the Switch Axe, and I've largely stayed with it. Now, Wilds has a mechanic that I really have come to appreciate, though I think I've underutilized as of this point in time, and that is being able to equip a secondary weapon and you swap it out when you're on your ReZero ground dragon thing called a segment. Going into Wilds, I was of the opinion that, oh, this will give me access to a bunch of different builds if I wanted to. Maybe later on what I'm about to say may be applicable, but imagine I'm fighting something and it has various phases where its resistance changes. So this phase may be weak to physical, this phase may be weak to elemental, so I could pack two weapons, one specializing in each. When it swaps its phase, I could swap to the other. That's cool. That leans in the flow of Monster. I haven't had anything like that yet, so I'm not going to dwell on it. But my other way of thinking was, oh, I could go and elect to go for a faster weapon at the start of a fight, and then later on when it becomes a bit more damaged and stuff like that, or vice versa, depending on the fight, I can swap to a slower weapon. I've kind of just settled on the very obvious thing, and that is melee weapon, ranged weapon. I have Switch Axe and a bow, and bow is freaking sick. I'm turbo bad with it though. Haven't really studied it or gotten good with it yet, but even at a rudimentary glance at what bow can do, it's so dang cool. Raining arrows down from the sky. There's a reason you see that like animation or that style of animation in like every fantasy game that has a bow, because it's awesome and just the bow feels so dang good. I tried a little bit of Gunlance. I don't know if it's for me, but even then I appreciated it and had a good time with it. It was fun, especially breaking wounds on monsters with the Gunlance. My god, was that visceral. You just shove the lance right into them, leave a bit of shrapnel as it like rips and tears into the wound after time. It's so dang good. But my Switch Axe, oh my god, my Switch Axe, they did it justice. At least to me. I feel faster, I feel more agile. This game so far seems to have less mechanics that take control away from me as the player compared to World, which I appreciate about Wilds. I love offset attacks. They're so dang cool when you manage to actually pull them off, because timing can be a little bit tricky. I use Xbox controls, so with axe mode on my charge blade, if I hit Y and B at the right time as the enemy's doing a certain type of attack, I can essentially counter it, knock it on its butt, and charge it for a bit of damage. I can also do that in sword mode. I haven't managed to land that one yet, but I believe in sword mode the input is right trigger and Y, which I also believe's transferred it back to X mode, so it forces me to think a bit more about the mode that I'm in, which I appreciate. Now, in World, yeah, I'm not good with the nomenclature in Monster Hunter, so bear with me as I describe this. You know that thing you do as a switch axe when you fully charge it, and you shove your sword right into the monster and ignite it into a giant torrent of hellfire? Well, in World for me, my guy would jump onto the monster and do it from there. Not the case in Wild so far. I'm not saying the mechanic doesn't exist, I just haven't found it yet. But I still shove my sword into the monster and blow it up, but I get a follow-up move that's this big, heavy hitter. It's slow, it takes a while to charge, it's hard as hell to land sometimes because about half the time, that initial wormfire thing that I do blows the monster away from me so I can't land the actual next attack. But when I manage to land the giant fire swing, oh, buddy, it feels good. And this is only one part of why I love Monster Hunter Wilds so much so far. Not only are the mechanics that I'm doing feel faster, more visceral and meaty and impactful, but the monster variety is far better to me than it was in World. In World, it felt a lot of the time like I'm just fighting a bunch of lizards and wyverns, whereas in Wild so far, I fought a frog, a fire chicken, a flower spider. By the way, that flower spider, the Lala thing, absolutely beautiful arena, S-tier design all around. Then I fought a farting gorilla, absolute complete tonal shift. Funnily enough, I really liked the gorilla. Then I fought a dune sandworm, and then the giant teddy bear. But it was in the main story, so I fought that giant teddy bear in a dust storm while it was also fighting a dune sandworm, and it was trying to aura farm on me by grabbing the sandworm and trying to rip it open while it's standing in front of the giant lightning storm. It was cinema. This is so dang good, and the story's starting to pick up with that. And like I said before, when the game is about the people and various characters, I couldn't care less. When the focus is on the monsters, my god, does this game shine. It's big, bombastic, and beautiful, and hectic, and adrenaline-packed, and it's lovely. And I've enjoyed every monster that I fought so far. I know some people are talking about how easy this game is. I can't really comment on that since my only experience was in World, and I feel at least like I've drastically improved as a player compared to starting World and now while I'm in Wilds. It does kind of feel as if monsters have a bit less HP. However, I'm still in low rank, so I'm not expecting the moon here. I'm not expecting like 5 Nugagantes to jump me or anything like that. But what I have fought, I have enjoyed. Each of the monsters I've fought so far are memorable, varied, not just in terms of how they look, but how they play. They have different status effects. The gorilla, when it farts on you, it's really smelly. So you either need deodorant or go take a bath in the water. Which I, funnily enough, haven't done yet, so my guy's probably extra stinky. But I refought the gorilla because I needed to farm resources to get a type of bone, Monster Hunter thinks. And I noticed something else the gorilla does. It periodically throughout the fight will eat various mushrooms, but if you're familiar with Monster Hunter, you know that there's a bunch of different mushrooms with different effects. So when it eats a mushroom, its breath attack may be different depending upon the mushroom it's consumed. If it ate a poison mushroom, it may breathe poison or a paralysis cloud. Stuff like that. Cool. Not only, in my opinion, are the gameplay mechanics so far more up my alley and appeal to me personally compared to World, which I already greatly enjoyed, but there's a bigger emphasis so far on enemy variety, and I think the actual arenas and the environments in which we fight these monsters are more well put together and clear, especially compared to, say, like the Great Forest from World, which could be confusing to navigate. I haven't really had that problem in Wilds yet, but I get and retain those environmental reactions that I loved so much from World. I get those in Wild as well. Vine traps on various trees, or I can swing on various bugs, and sometimes I'll be able to drop a giant boulder or a rock pillar onto an enemy, and it feels so dang good to pull it off. And like I said before, this game is absolutely beautiful. Now, having said that, if you go back to my first stream of the game, you may be going, Jmulls, also I'm pretty sure some of the footage in the background of this video will be from my first stream, you may be going, Jmulls, what's going on with the game? It's really glitchy and graphically inconsistent. I had a bit of a mess up. I'm sure the PC gamers out there will relate. I forgot to update my drivers. Yeah, our game looks way better after I've done that. So what am I looking forward to with the rest of Monster Hunter Wilds? Now that I've dipped my toe into it. Where do we go from here? I hope the game is able to continue this same level of monster variety that it has so far. Also, the outfits in this game look incredible. Like, every one of them looks great. I believe this game lets you equip, like, either gender type of gear, regardless of, you know, what your gender is in game. So that's cool, but the gear overall looks absolutely incredible. Like, that spider thing, that gear set looks elite. Reminds me of a red mage from Final Fantasy. And it's not just the gear you can equip, but also your palico. It looks amazing. The spider gives your cat a frilly dress, which just looks hilarious to me. But also, I can get my cat a mech suit. Yeah, that was awesome. Unfortunately, the bear gear was better, so I've had to, like, replace it for now, but I will meet you again, mech suit cat, one day. We will meet again. Gemma pulls some absolute wizardry, by the way, to go from crafting what appears to be a short sword to giving me a full piece of leather armor. Girl's a wizard, what can I say? Now, the food scenes that are in the game look absolutely great as well. I do miss having my squad of cats from World cook for me, though. And, like, just making stuff in a pot in camp doesn't hit the same, but the food still looked really good. Now, I know I've kind of segued away from what this topic part of the video was supposed to be, but what do I want to see for the rest of Wilds? Honestly, more of the same. If the story can improve, that would be great. It's not a deal breaker for me, because the combat, the world, and the monster variety is hitting so hard for me. Keep those elements up and I'll be happy. I would love to see more zone variety. I know that's coming. I hope they're able to keep up the same level of monster variety so far, because I think that does make a lot of difference, because it gives you very different fights, different mechanics, different feels in the fight, but it also seemingly opens up just how creative they can be for the armor sets, because my god, they're gorgeous. So yeah, I am really satisfied with what I've played of Monster Hunter Wilds so far, and it makes me want to continue playing it. The story at the very beginning and up to this point is extremely slow, like Tar. I am hoping it starts to pick up with the giant teddy bear fight. It's kind of picked up a bit, so I'll play some more and see where it goes from here. I'll keep an open mind. And with that, I think I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below with what your favorite fight or weapon has been so far in Monster Hunter Wilds. I would love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives, and hear your stories. Stay safe, have a great day. Happy hunting, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.